And we're live.
Hello, SHL again. Number 9.
Number 9.
This is Rich and Adam again. I mean, you should probably know, I suppose.
Yeah, by now.
If you're listening. Yeah. So yeah, we're back again. Another week. And we've got preseason started, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, gives us some stuff to talk about.
Some games. Yeah, some actual games rather than
speculation.
I guess we've had some interesting stuff to talk about, but now we get kind of the reason we're all here.
We can dig into numbers now,
Yeah. And we got some questions about some things, so we'll hit those up.
Yeah, there's some overlap everywhere. I'm excited.
Yeah. So do you want to just go straight to the questions, or is there anything you want to touch on first?
No, let's just jump right into it. My boy Kimmy, good old Kimmy. My boy Kimmy asks, Rich, how does it feel?
Well, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I don't have anything that feels bad right now, so I guess it feels pretty good.
Yeah, it feels pretty damn good, Kimmer.
Oh, I listened to at least a bit. I didn't listen to all of his solo podcast, so it's tough for me because it's mostly juniors stuff, and I have no idea. But yeah, it was interesting. Nice. I like more podcasts. Podcasts are good.
Yeah, more podcasts are a good thing. I would rather listen than read. I can do two things at once if I'm listening.
Yeah.
And I'm all about multitasking.
Have you checked out, I guess I only noticed one, but there was one podcast submission for the PT this week. Did you check that out?
Was that Teddy's?
It was Drunken Teddy.
Yeah, it was Teddy. Yeah, I haven't listened to it because I don't want to do my due diligence of listening to whatever is going to fall out of his mouth, but I'll get around to it. I like that they're adding that. I think that's super, super cool. I think a lot of people are going to buy into that.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I haven't noticed anybody else doing it other than Teddy, but yeah, it's a nice idea. I don't think I'll do it. Just I feel like it takes me less time, not necessarily less work.
Yeah, it's just quicker to write. Typing's way easier. Yeah,
I have to.
Because it's got to be 8 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, 8 minutes, which isn't much at all, but it's the finding a place to upload it and all that stuff that I don't want to monkey with, where I can just type something up in a Word really quick.
Yeah, 150 words or 8 minutes, and then try and find a place to upload your shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, before I guess I should have maybe asked you this before we started, but I wanted to follow up on the old PT affiliation stuff since we actually have a PT and people are actually doing it.
Yeah, we got a few, right? I don't know how many there
quite
are.
A few.
I haven't looked because I haven't done my PT this week yet.
Yeah, there's actually quite a few people.
I'm not surprised.
Yes, I guess I wasn't sure what to expect, but so I went through and I was actually, so I don't know how many people. I know this was brought up in the announcement thread, but a lot of people kind of say that nobody really reads the PTs.
Then that's a fair statement to make.
But I don't really know how true it is because I haven't in the last few seasons, but I used to and started again this season because I think the PTs will be better now.
Yeah, I agree.
Read through. If not, I don't read them all. I don't go page by page and read everything. I just go through and look to see if there's anything interesting or any particular people that I'm interested in their kind of what their thoughts are.
Yeah.
Or if there's anything related to my team I might be interested into. But I forgot where I was going with that. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm just curious. I don't know how many people actually do read the PTs. And I read a few here and there, so I'd be interested to know. So then I guess the issue is like how much with people claiming the affiliation thing. There is a little bit of technically content lost for the SHL.
Absolutely.
Which I find a little weird. I guess it's probably not valuable.
Well, I was gonna say most of the I'm going through it right now, and most of the people that are claiming an affiliated PT, I don't really know. Like I haven't seen them around the site that often. Most of the people that I do interact with, like actually wrote out a PT.
Well, but then there's also guys like Rabbit Sponge.
Yeah, Rabbit Sponge.
Highly active. So it's a weird mix. The other part is it's not. I don't think it's people. Well, it can't really be people, new members to the site, yet because this is all SHL.
It's all SHL guys, yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of odd as well. Like how.
At most, they'd have to have just been drafted.
Right. So they didn't get attracted to the SHL from this. So I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know what the PTs and juniors look like.
Yeah. Well, is juniors even participating in this? I don't think they are. I
don't know.
Thought the SHL and the SMJHL were effectively separate things.
But maybe you might be right.
They've got separate head offices, so I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. Basically, that it's getting used, but I don't know that it's like adding anything or adding activity. I don't know.
I don't know. It seems pretty even split from what I can tell. There's a fair amount of people doing it, but there's also a fair amount of people not doing it.
I'll be interested to see, because the way Wally put it in the original thread for the PT, he calls it welfare. So
yeah,
I'm curious to see if that, like, if like I said, if they get full credit for the full 3 for their PTs. I think that's the assumption everybody makes. But to call it welfare seems odd as well, because typically on sim sites, when you claim welfare, you're not getting the full TPE. It's usually something you claim. At least it was on. God, which one was it? It was a football one that was prior to the when the NSFL and the other one, I can't remember. It starts with an E. Those 2 football leagues started. There's one previous.
Are you talking about PBE or?
What's that?
Which league are you talking about?
There's the two football leagues, NSFL, and there's one that's like an EFL. I think
EFL,
maybe?
might be.
Is that the one?
Yeah.
Prior to those, there was one called WFL.
Yes.
And on that one, they had like a welfare system where you'd get instead of having to do a PT in the week, you would just claim welfare and get like a set amount of TPE, which was like, I don't know, I think maybe a quarter of what you would get if you were to actually do a PT or something along those lines. So when I see welfare, when I think of welfare, I think of it being less than, but I don't know if that's the case or not. Like I said, I haven't seen anybody say whether or not.
I don't think so, but obviously I'm not sure.
I think the assumption is that they're going to get full.
I think that's what it is. Yes, I think if you're claiming welfare, post the link below on one of our affiliate plus sites, and we will verify your submission meets the affiliate requirements. Must be completed during PT 1 week, meaning the posting of this task to the due date below, and you will receive free cap TPE. Yeah, so it's full.
Okay. So yeah, there's that. I should have actually counted how many people. It was a fair number. It's got to be like probably in the area of 10, I would think, at this point. Just on my kind of memory of going through and seeing the number that I saw claimed. So yeah, we'll see, I guess, how that continues, how it progresses, and yeah, I don't know. There's not a whole lot else to add there.
Yeah.
God, I forgot how. I thought I had something else I wanted to add in there, but I don't remember what it was. So I guess we can just go on to ML's questions then.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Kimmer.
Oh yeah. I don't remember
for what it was worth.
Why I thought of that while I don't know.
Hey, you know what? We can give the credit to Kimmy, who
sure.
We'll just say started that talk.
Yeah, great question.
It was
Kimmy.
A great question. It feels good, honestly. Yeah, let's move on to ML. First question from that fucking idiot ML002. I'm assuming y'all will talk about awards, but just a reminder to talk about them. So, obviously the SHL and the Juniors Awards happened over this past week.
Yes. Juniors, was a day or two
yesterday.
Ago, yesterday?
It was yesterday.
Yeah. Which I didn't pay attention to at all. I didn't actually pay attention to the SHL ones either. I'm looking at them now, though, so.
I didn't win any of the SHL ones, so
opinions.
Don't care. But let's go through them and just kind of talk about surprises, not surprises. I don't think there's any real surprises on this list.
I'm looking at it right now, and most of it looks like it makes sense to me. You'll have a little more insight, but like the rookie one, I'm not familiar with how those players did.
Where's the rookies? Those Jester, right? Yeah.
Jester.
For me personally, I think Hobbs was absolutely the top rookie. It's hard to do that award with goalies, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, most times you're going to get a top rookie award that's a forward because that's just how they work.
Okay. Hobbs was their goalie, right?
Hobbs was the goalie, yeah.
I remember seeing that.
And so I think most often you see in stuff for that, it's the guys that are scoring really, really high, right? But Hobbs was an amazing exception this year, in my mind, and I'm glad that he did ultimately wind up winning it, because what Hobbs did for Texas, I think, was way more impressive than what Petrikov did for Texas and what Christensen did for Toronto. Because Hobbs played like an SHL level veteran goaltender as a rookie.
Yeah, and Hobbs actually not Hobbs. Sorry, Texas had a few players that played at I think a higher level than expected.
Absolutely.
And that it's kind of that combination of things made them finish a lot higher than I certainly expected. So yeah, that's an interesting pick. I guess I like I said, I'm not familiar with the rookies too much. I do remember Petrikov having a good season.
Petrikov had a great season.
Was Anders Christensen, is he a defenseman?
Let's find out. Let's just go to the index and find out,
eh?
Yeah. Toronto North Stars. No, Christensen's a center.
Center, okay. Oh, it looks like this season, at least in preseason, he's playing on the wing of Chris York. So.
Yes, which helps. I don't remember what the line looked like last season, but playing on York's line is going to help.
Oh yeah, certainly. Let's see what else we got awards wise. Ron Mexico MVP.
Yeah,
Fletcher won that.
Not surprising to me.
Yeah, makes sense. I think there was two Fletcher and who's the other one? Oh, my brain. The other forward on New England's roster that played really, really well.
You talking about Green?
Green, yes, that was the other one.
Yeah, Xander Green.
Yeah, those two I think pretty well carried that team.
Yeah. Fletcher put that team on his back. Absolutely.
So I think that makes sense. I think the other probably 4-4. I think would be the next.
4-4 would have been a great pick too. I think I had 4-4 in second place. I don't remember. He was a great pick.
Yeah. 4-4 played really, really well, and especially the way Buffalo could not score, which drove me insane because of my fantasy picks last season. But yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. 4-4 backstopped that team at such a high level. It was close, I think, if I remember right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So no surprise though to see 4-4 winning the McBride.
Yeah, I think that was a fairly easy. I would think it would be a fairly easy choice.
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, like Bojo, love him, but 4-4 was head and shoulders above his competition this year.
Yeah, I mean 4-4 doesn't have the season he has, and Buffalo is not.
Buffalo's a lottery team.
Yeah, that was a weird season for them. But I think it was salvaged by the play of 4-4.
He played so well that he made that team play better because of it. If he doesn't have that season, they're a lottery team.
Let's see, McFadden. What kind of a season did McFadden have?
Good enough, but not not that level, you know?
Yeah, no, certainly not. Huh. Actually, I want to pull up last season's index now because I want to see what... Because I don't know who would have been second. I don't think anybody would have been close. It probably not. Just in my really quick kind of off the top of my head evaluation. But I'd be interested to see. Sorry, one moment. Let's see. Where are we at? Save percentage. 4-4 is... Yeah, okay. So actually, McFadden was even behind Bojo in save percentage.
Yeah,
by quite a bit. So yeah, and then 4-4 even further ahead of Bojo than Bojo was of McFadden. So
yeah, like I said, that's a no-brainer pick in my eyes.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. Okay. Then we've got
Scott Stevens. Yeah, I mean, it was going to be Reese or Metzler. I didn't think Leach was going to get it again.
Yeah, Leach. I don't recall that type of season. I don't remember thinking Leach had a great season, but maybe he did, and I just didn't pay attention.
It was a good season. It wasn't an S41 season. You know what I mean? Leach in S41 was a monster. Leach in S42 was a Stevens nominee.
Yeah.
I think Metzler's a good pick. I don't know.
Yeah, I know Metzler had a really great season. 52 points is pretty good. What did he do for blocks? Not super high, but good enough. And actually, none of these guys are in the. Actually, no, that's not true. Reese is 10th for shots blocked. The other two are not even in the top 10. Yeah, I need to dig deeper, and I don't really want to spend time looking at the index and humming and hawing and so forth.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Lance Eppercut, best GM.
Yes, I mean that would make sense. Picking up Idacolio was the move that got us into the playoffs, basically.
Yeah, it was a move that I think. Wait, did you guys win the old what do you call it? President's Trophy last year?
No, maybe.
Who won it? Oh my.
Maybe we did actually.
I have the index open. I don't know why I'm asking. I can just look. Hamilton 60. Yeah, you guys had the President's Trophy last year.
Hell yeah,
and I
man!
think that's the. I mean, without
Idacolio, without Idacolio, we maybe don't even make the playoffs. You know.
It becomes very hairy.
Let alone getting President's Trophy.
Like Minnesota, you know, like the season we had. Whereas, I mean, yeah, you may have the offense, but is your goaltending and defense going to be enough? And it wasn't for us. So
hey, that's me this year, man. That's me this year.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later. Sure.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think bringing in JY's player for a season, even if it was just a one season thing, is a really good move, and it does make you it made you, for me, the favorite kind of in the league last year.
Yeah.
So I keep saying last year. Now that sounds weird.
No, I do it all the time too. I've been telling people that I've been GMing in Vancouver for 8 years, and it's been like a year and a half. But
yeah.
You know, it's in seasons and it's hockey talk, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So best GM, that one makes sense to me.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I need to see.
I think the moves that Hamilton made sense for the team.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look through the transactions and so on to see what teams like Edmonton and Texas did. But I think that the ending position and knowing the move that put Hamilton in that position, I think that makes sense to me. So yeah, I'm good with that.
Joe McKeel, best coach.
Yeah.
That one makes sense to me. Texas,
it had to be Texas or New England, I think.
Texas played so high. Texas was punching up all season, and they were landing like almost every hit, honestly.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And that's on the way that they built their lines. That Texas team was really solid last year when they should have been maybe like mid-card at best. So that one to me is no-brainer.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I'm good with it. If it was up to me, I would have had a harder time, I think, deciding between Texas and New England, because I think New England's in a fairly similar position. They maybe have a slightly stronger roster, but yeah, I feel the same way about New England that I do about Texas, whereas their roster's not quite there, so they need to do more with their players than other teams do. So, and I mean, Calgary, I don't know, nothing. I mean, I don't know.
Calgary's always good. Calgary's always good.
Well, but their roster's also so much better than those other two.
It's not hard to put together a winning roster with that, and that's. I say that's no disrespect to Asa. Obviously, the dude knows what the fuck he's doing, but it would be a lot easier for somebody to put together a winning roster with Calgary, put together winning lines with Calgary's roster, rather than Texas or New England's.
Yep. Yes, much easier, I think. Jeff Darr.
Yeah, I think I voted Joe. I think Joe K makes sense.
I'd have to look at these.
I don't remember the stats off the top of my head. That's the problem.
I don't know. I still have issues with the Jeff Darr award. So
I think Vorkamper also good. I think Vorkamper a good pick too, but you know.
Yeah. Yep. I think Joe's probably fine because I know he was. I think pretty sure he had over 200 hits.
I'm almost positive. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
What's next? Damian Littleton, most dedicated.
Yeah, I mean Simmer. That makes sense.
Yeah, I could stump for Teddy on this one. You know, Evok did a lot of work as a Simmer, but I think the amount of fucking work Teddy put into the site for the past few months, and is still continuously putting into the site. I mean, fuck, we have issues that come up that I think he has to deal with almost weekly still.
Did he win that last season?
He did, yeah.
Okay. I couldn't remember. I was going to say, if he didn't win it last season, then he definitely should have this season. But I thought he had won it last season. But yeah, I'm fine with the Simmer.
Yeah, Evok's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, we all know they put in a lot of work, so yeah. It's really not much to that award.
Yeah,
So there's not a whole lot to talk about. So.
How much do you put into the site? How much does the site give back? Right.
Yeah.
Aiden Rishin. This was close. This one was close. Lakitinov and Harak.
I'm curious. It did. Was Colton Hagen in the discussion for that?
No.
I'm curious because I don't know what his previous season stats were, but I know he had a huge season.
I might have had him on my list, but I don't remember.
Because that was one of the guys I was looking for, but again, I don't know what his stats the season before were, so I don't know if he was really a viable candidate there. So.
This was a super close race between Lakitinov and Harak.
Mm-hmm.
But they both deserved it, honestly.
I don't know well enough either. I don't even actually know how well or how kind of a season Nor had. So
it was good. I think if you had to ask me the reason Lakitinov won it over Harak, it was probably because Lakitinov was doing those numbers on a still fairly mediocre Toronto team, where Harak. Maybe it's more impressive that he did it on a deeper team, but Lakitinov put part of that Toronto team on his back, you know? I mean, it's tough. They say it, I mean, we say it all the time. If you want to win awards, you got to play for a shitty team.
They don't have not too big of a discrepancy in ice time.
They were very close.
Fairly even, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'd want to look at their previous season stats, but just looking at their stats from this season, yeah, they're very, very, very close. Lakitinov had 22 goals. That's really impressive.
I think either of them would have been the right pick, you know?
Yeah.
Dewitt, no. Dewitt, I don't know why he was in the conversation. Yeah, it had a good year, but up against those two, just kind of tough to be the third there.
Yeah. He did it with Dewitt had his season with a couple of minutes fewer than whoever was lower. I forget which one of the two was lower. It was basically 22, 19, and 17. So.
Right.
Huh. So yeah, I think they're all fairly close, but yeah, I can't really comment further on that because I don't. I'd have to look back at previous seasons.
Yeah. That's a lot of digging through indexes. I don't want to do right now.
Yeah. Playoff MVP.
Glad we gave it to the winning team this year. Even though, as I've said before, I absolutely think that the Los Angeles goaltender would have been a great. I don't remember if he won it or not, but the LA goaltender to me was an awesome pick for S41 MVP because he basically made that LA team what they were. But in this case, yeah, I mean you got to give it to Calgary. They cleaned house. And I think Joe K is a fine pick.
Yeah, I'd have to look, but that makes sense. That he was probably their leading scorer, most likely.
You could make an argument for Dick Chocolate, but I think Joe K is probably a good pick.
The thing is with Calgary, I don't think they would. I wouldn't assume they won, at least based on what I know of their roster, that they won because of Dick Chocolate. I would be
absolutely not.
More inclined to assume they won because of their
forward
skaters.
talent, and their defense talent.
Yep.
And then Sarmat Khan, fan voted MVP. It's the player voted MVP. It's the Ted Lindsay of this league. I don't remember what the Ted Lindsay is.
No clue. But I know, 4-4. I saw the votes. There were a lot of votes for him, so it makes sense. I think it's a fine pick. I think it totally makes sense.
Well, now I gotta fucking Google what the Ted Lindsay is for. I don't remember. I'm a terrible hockey fan.
No clue. Let's see. Yeah, I think 4-4. I don't even know how I would be interested to know what the voting split was, but I'm pretty sure 4-4 was a kind of the runaway winner with that.
Ted Lindsay's the NHL most outstanding player by the NHLPA. Okay, yeah, so it's kind of the Ted Lindsay. I don't know. Point being, 4-4, good pick.
Yeah, I think it's totally fine.
Good, that's a solid pick. I'm glad 4-4 got an MVP of some sort.
So yeah, do we want to? Oh, you know what? I was gonna kind of piggyback off this a little bit, since you're awards committee.
That's me, man.
I wanted to know. So this is kind of goofy, and I'm not sure how to word it. So um, the statistics and how they kind of shake out in the SHL, we know as kind of users how the sim kind of works as like the kind of the meta of the sim. So we know
Yeah.
that being on a bad team means you can be a good player in a large part because your team is bad.
Yeah, you win awards by playing on a shitty team. You win a cup by playing on a good team.
Right. So how much does that kind of knowledge influence your voting, or do you try to keep a mindset of, you know, um, if this were real hockey and you're just looking at a stat sheet and without knowledge of like, oh, they only perform this way because the rest of their, they're head and shoulders above the rest of their teammates. So they, you know, do you try to do that, or I don't know, I guess, what are your thoughts on that?
I'll be honest. I'll be like totally brutally honest with you. It never even crossed my mind when I was voting.
So you go strictly off of like
it's numbers, man.
Yeah, if as if this is real hockey and you're without kind of injecting that knowledge that we're working within this sim engine.
Yeah, it's numbers. You put the numbers up, you absolutely should be considered. Whether that's because you were on a shitty team or not is numbers don't care. You put up numbers. Doesn't matter how you put them up. If that was the case, we could nullify half the fucking awards on this list, right?
I suppose, yeah. And that's because I know there was some discussion about that. I think it was a season or two ago. Maybe it was last season. Maybe it was season 4. I don't remember. About whether or not York was a kind of a legitimate MVP candidate.
Yeah, right. Because Toronto didn't make the playoffs that season.
Yeah. So I was kind of curious, what your thoughts were on that. I don't really have. I don't know. I don't know where I land on that, because it's really tough, because it does bother me that being on a bad team kind of inflates your numbers, but at the same time, it's I don't know.
What can we do about it?
Yeah. It's just the kind of the reality of it.
It's the sim, and this is like kind of off topic, but I know I was talking to some friends from Hamilton earlier this week about the idea of just trying to see what happens if we ran something like this in like Eastside Hockey Manager or something,
Mm-hmm.
A sim that has different options. I'm not going to say better or worse options, just different options to run it. Obviously, it'd be really tough to re-implement a sim this far into the history of this organization, but it's interesting to ask, what would these awards look like? What would stat lines look like? How would people perform if we were in something that wasn't Simon? And I've considered booting up EHM and just doing some quick tests in it and seeing how it performs. But it's at the end of the day, we can't really do shit for dick about stats in this league, because it's the engine, man. It's at the end of the day, the engine decides all.
Yeah, we're very much at the mercy of the Simon T.
So. How's Simon feel today, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So to answer your question, I try and think more about the numbers than I do the context.
Okay.
Which some people will probably disagree with that method, but
that's the things. I know some people do consider the context of how the numbers are created, or how they're achieved. So I just don't know to what extent, or how many people, or that kind of thing. So I was just curious what your thoughts were on that.
Yeah, for me it's numbers. If you put up the numbers, you're in contention. Maybe you're on a shitty team, but at the end of the day, you still put up the numbers. Clearly, you're not that shitty a player. You're just on a shitty team. I'm really bitter tonight.
No? What was that?
I don't know.
Any reason in particular?
Not really, man.
Siege bitterness?
Oh, God, don't fucking... I'm going on 6 days now. Can't connect to a fucking game of Siege.
Oh really? Oh, man.
That's a different argument for a different podcast.
Do you want to... let's see, what do we got next? More ML stuff? And why did I go away from his questions? What am I doing?
I have it pulled up. It's all right. I
just scrolled up in that thread. I didn't even actually go away from it. I just scrolled away for no reason.
What do we got? Some interesting position changes from some notable players this season. Maybe discuss those. Yeah, I actually didn't know until about 30 minutes ago that TDZ shifted to forward.
Yeah, I knew about that, mostly because of fantasy stuff. But I
That's
don't
how.
think
Yeah, that's how I found out.
it doesn't affect. I don't think it has any impact on fantasy this season, just because he's Calgary. So, if anything, I think it hurts the other Calgary forwards slightly. But
Yeah, well, and it'll be good because that kind of opens up spots on their D for younger guys. Because one of the things that you notice
you
about
think it
Calgary a
will?
lot, I do honestly.
I don't think it will. But they
Because
made
that was
room for
like,
confusion. That's all it was.
yeah, pretty much.
Um,
Because I remember when I was in free agency, that was one of the things that concerned me about Calgary was that they just had such a deep defensive core. But yeah, they're really all they're doing is making room for confusion. So
yeah.
Sammy, I had no idea changed position.
Yeah, that's not totally. I mean, I think this is
Did he go to
his second player
defense?
that he's done that with.
Did
Yeah.
he go to
So
defense?
and it's um let's see. I'm pretty sure he was a forward to begin with. So yeah, I think he went
That
defense.
makes sense. Seattle needs defense, so
Yeah, and yeah, this is just a case of the GM just kind of switching to suit his
filling a
team.
hole.
So
We're filling a
that's
hole.
yeah, slightly different than Calgary kind of just shuffling players around. Which I don't know. I would not. I don't think I'd move positions if I was put in that situation. I
Yeah,
don't think I would.
Kruger's a defenseman, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Even though my player makes a ton of sense at defense, and actually, my player's going to be playing some defense this season on power play and penalty kill.
right.
Um, he's a forward, and I don't. That's not. That's I don't know. If I wanted to change position, I would do it. I wouldn't do
Yeah.
it at the request of my team. I don't think.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess it would be very dependent on the situation, but
Absolutely. And for me, it kind of comes back to a thing that we talked about a few weeks ago now, that like, really, for me, Kruger is his own person. He's not like, he's to me in my head, Kruger wouldn't ever be a forward. That's just, it's not what he signed up to do. You know what I mean? Next guy's a forward. It's what he wanted to do. But in my head, this is kind of like its own. Would Finn Kruger want to be a forward? Probably not. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
But,
Actually, I think my player's personality and the way I've kind of developed him, he probably would. He probably would. But for me, I don't want to move him. So
yeah. I've got a recreate for that. Whenever that happens.
Let's see. As far as I don't know, there's a whole lot else to say there. I don't know if anybody else has moved. Actually, there's
Not to my
the
knowledge.
only reason I knew about Sammy because I think he probably mentioned it in the Kelowna Discord at some point, and then again
right.
like TTZ I knew about because of some fantasy implications there. But I don't know any others outside of those. So if there are more, I have no idea.
Ditto.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to say there, I guess. Yeah.
All right, let's just move on then.
Yeah, move right into fantasy.
Fantasy drafts should be coming to a close. How do y'all feel about how you drafted? Rich, any players you think are going to be steals?
It's tougher to say this season. But do you want to do what our teams are at, and then we can talk about maybe some potential steals?
Run down who you got, Rich.
All right. Let's see. Here we go. So first round, I took Xander Reese, which I think he has still top 3 value, especially given Jasper Clayton moving on. He becomes the only defenseman on that team that is kind of good. And that team has gotten worse kind of overall. So Reese should be blocking a ton of shots, which I think we're seeing in preseason. Not that that really means a whole lot, but whatever. Second, I took Corey Naus, who for whatever reason, despite Edmonton's very good roster, seems to get the best of it. I don't know why. Seems like that shouldn't be the case, but whatever. Because he's got that I think problem that you get with teams like Winnipeg, where like who knows which player is going to be the good player, but for whatever reason now seems to be the best. Third, I went with Terrence Nova. I'm pretty sure I took him third. Yeah, Terrence Nova, Minnesota. I was a little afraid that seeing what our rosters are now, because I took this before our rosters kind of were put together, or our lines rather. I was a little afraid I would be on the same line as him, and that would take away from his hits. But that's not the case, so it looks like it's going to be a solid pick. He's basically our kind of number one forward, our best forward, fairly significantly ahead of anybody. Actually, that's not true now because Wazzy's there and he's quite close. So.
Yes, and he should be doing good on that team, I think.
Yeah, I think they're sharing a line, so we'll see how that works. But I still think it's a pretty reasonable pick. So Nova should get most of the hits from that line and should be playing a very large number of minutes. So then fourth, I went. Ooh, which one went? I think the way this played out was fourth. I took Victor Vorkampfer, and
that's a good
who is on which team is he on? Oh my God,
Buffalo? No.
Is he on?
Yeah, Buffalo. Vorkamper was Buffalo last season, wasn't he?
Is he Buffalo? Yeah, that's because that's Kit. Yeah, that's Buffalo. I don't know why. Because I think earlier in the in our drafting process, when he got stuck into my little roster by whoever's running ours, I think they had put Edmonton's symbol by him, and it confused me and got me all. I was like, did he get traded? And I didn't know about it because if he's on Edmonton, I don't think I'd pick him. But if he's on Buffalo, yes, he's going to be their hitting forward. He's one of their better forwards, and so he should get a decent number of points. And I think he's pretty decent value at fourth.
And I think I got him fourth too.
Yeah. I think anywhere in that fourth to fifth round or later. Fourth is like probably the earliest I would pick him. Anyway, getting a little too deep. So then fifth round I went Winnipeg's goaltending. The two teams I think I would pick ahead of Winnipeg, which were, three teams: Calgary, Buffalo, Edmonton. Were already taken, and at this point, it was either I get Winnipeg or if I didn't pick my goaltender now, I wasn't going to get a good team. So I picked Winnipeg fifth, and then last pick, this was my pick that I'm not super happy with. It was kind of a value pick, but I don't know if it's going to work out. But I picked Shoyu Kikoman, the
former Vancouver.
Manhattan.
Yeah.
That's a pick where basically Manhattan's garbage. And he's
sorry,
like their
JY.
only defenseman who is he's like 800 TP or maybe 750 or something like that. They've got one more who's like around 600, I think, who's active. And then after that, it's like nothing. And that's kind of where he's kind of been for the last few seasons in fantasy, where he's just been the only reasonable-ish defenseman on a bad team. So he's had good enough seasons. So I'm kind of banking on that happening again. He needs to score, 35-ish points, maybe 40 would be nice.
I think that's good.
Should be a very high shot blocker, although it's not. I don't think it's looking that way so far in preseason. And he should get a reasonable number of hits. He doesn't have high checking, but a lot of players on that team are young or bad, so they don't have a lot of checking. So he should be okay-ish. That's where I'm at. I'm okay. If I'm expecting a swap to be made, it's going to be Kikoman.
Probably. I would say that's probably your weakest link.
Yep. I couldn't decide what to do with that pick because there were still some quality players available. It was either going to be him or Isaac Odegaard for Minnesota, who I will talk about later because we're going to talk about steals, and that's one of them. But yeah, there you go. What about you?
Let's see. First round, I picked up Joe K over Chris York, which we'll see if it pays off or not. It probably won't, but I wanted to shake things up a little bit.
Yeah, looking at preseason, York's looking like he's kind of stayed the same, so which isn't a surprise.
Yeah, I mean York's a great fucking hockey player. So I went Joe K round 1, round 2 and 3 because I had first overall, so I went back to back 2-3. 2-3 I went Connor Tanner on D, and then I actually went Odegaard on D as well.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a bit early for Odegaard, and also Connor Tanner seems to be going higher than I would have taken him in a lot of leagues, or at least not. I don't want to say a lot, but in mine he went higher than I would have taken him, and
he potted 40-ish points last season. I think over 40 points last season as a defenseman. He scores like a forward, and that's why I wanted him. My initial picks were going to be Schroeder and Eastwood, and then they went in the 2 picks before my turn.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Eastwood's been a weird one. Some teams some leagues it seems like he's going later. I think he's a first round pick.
I think he went second round for us.
Yeah, or like one of the first 3 picks of the second round. Like if he falls into the second half of the second round, like he's a big steal, I think.
What else? Then anyway. 5 I went for Camphor, so I've got 2 of the Jeff Darr nominees from last season on my team.
Mm-hmm.
And Wes Kendall's goaltending in the 5th round.
Yep.
Which I think is a fine pick. Bojo's going to do good. We all know that.
Yep.
And then I finished off today with Mikko Lina in Calgary. That's the last pick of the draft.
Yeah, when you get the kind of that area, that 6th round forward pick, anybody who's scoring better than like 250, 260 is fine. It's a weird spot. That last pick's always the hardest, I think. You get this huge mess of players that all kind of score the same.
I was surprised to see Lina fall that far.
I'm not, just based on last season's performance, and the depth of forwards in Calgary. It's tough to take forwards outside of Joe K and Izzy on that team. And that's because Haley mostly. Yeah, we'll see. It's tough. It's the last pick is always the worst, I think. Unless like last season actually my last pick was super easy because last season I think it was easier to pick out steals later than it is this season.
Right.
So let's talk about steals really quick.
Yeah. You absolutely will know more about this than I do.
So this season I'm having a lot harder time figuring out who's going to be good later this season than last season. So this season, my biggest pick for like a steal for like a late round kind of sleeper pick is Isaac Odegaard, defenseman of Minnesota.
Yeah.
I said that last week. I'm pretty sure we talked about this, but that's the one that's the most obvious to me. Yeah. And this is because with the loss of Confusion and the regression of Garbanzo, our defense isn't what it used to be at all. But Isaac Odegaard is like our up and comer, who's like I think around 1,500 TP, basically just at the point of kind of hitting that max build, and hasn't really done much previous. Like last season, Odegaard was a 240 point scoring fantasy defenseman, which is not great. 240 points out of your defenseman is it's not terrible, but it
could be way better.
Yeah, certainly substandard. But I think this season, Odegaard's our best defenseman by a lot, and is going to see a lot of playing time. And yeah, it's just I think you're going to see a big increase in his production. Players, male.
I think that's probably fair. Yeah.
But that's part of it's homerism, part of it's speculation. It's tough to tell. Last season, I thought it was super easy. Like with two guys in particular, Louis Garrett, who was one of the leading shooters in the league and just wasn't burying as many as you would expect. I think he might have been first or second or something in shots in the league the season before, on a team that was not good in Seattle and was going to still be not good the next season. And then the other guy was Jack Tanner on defense, who was playing for San Francisco. Those are the two that to me were it was like very obvious they were both going to have way better seasons than they did before. I guess I didn't quite think or know Louis was going to have the season he did, and I think Jack Tanner even had a really good season too. Yeah, 280 points for Jack Tanner last season, which is really good, especially for the position he was picked in, because you could almost certainly get him in the 6th round last season. Louis Garrett I took in the 5th, and I think Jack Tanner was still there in the 6th when I picked, and I think I had goaltending left at that point. But this season, I don't know. You're seeing guys like LKS fall pretty low because he's not typically a big producer.
Yeah.
And so people kind of discount him. So that's a player you can look for in the 5th and 6th round. Sometimes some teams, some leagues still take him fairly early just because he's a really high TPE player.
Yeah, I think LKS went 2nd round for us.
Yes, and that's a huge reach. If I'm taking LKS, I'm taking him 6th probably. I'm not going to take him probably ahead of that, and that's just because you can't rely on him. But if there's somebody you want to take kind of a shot on, it's the guy like LKS, I think.
Well, and he used to be a 1st round staple too.
Right, but he's never really produced. He was more of a 1st round guy because he was like individually very good, but he was like a safe pick, right?
Right.
That's a tricky one. What else? Let me see if I can find any others. I saw Augustus TDZ getting picked earlier than I would have certainly picked him.
It's probably because he's a forward.
Yeah, and I don't trust that he's going to do that well. I don't want to look at his build, but the thing is with forwards, the only reliable source of points, like truly reliable source of points, and actually it's not totally true now because shots on goal are a bit reliable. But the truly most reliable is hits. Because the guys who hit get their hits no matter what. But the guys who score may not get their points. They may not, they may have a bad shooting season like Visser did last season when he shot, and then the previous season shooting like 18%, and then he shot like, I don't know, like 6 or something like that last season. Or you've got guys like who I had, Luke Atme, last season shooting like, I think less than 4% on the season.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So your steals are going to be guys that can hit that happen to score well. So I think Vorkamper is a potential steal as well, although I think most people know about him, so it's not like any kind of big secret. It's just you can get him late.
Yeah, I took him 4th round, I want to say.
Yeah. Let me see. I guess I don't really have any other steals other than, like I said, Odegaard's my big one.
Finn Kruger, baby.
Kruger's having a hell of a preseason.
Man, oh man, I'm waiting for that to not continue.
And that's the thing though, right? Because it's preseason, so who knows whether it'll carry over the regular season. And Kruger isn't really a hitter, is he?
Oh, I bumped his checking up to 70 this year.
Did he? What's he at? I want to see what he's at.
61 hits right now.
60. That's not bad.
It's not bad. It's not top 10, but as far as a hitting defender goes, it's like fine. There are higher hitting ones. There are lower hitting ones.
Yeah. At that pace, you should hit like what, about 110? No,
probably, maybe like 90s.
More like 90 to 100. Yeah, 90 to 100. It's probably safe. That 100 is pretty good. 100 is a pretty good number because then you're not like totally reliant on your scoring.
Yeah, which is spotty for me.
Yeah, no, it's spotty for everybody. I mean, there are, I guess, like guys like York, and that's why he's a high pick.
Yeah,
guys like
he's a scorer.
Joe K, because they're going to get their points.
Shots blocked used to be reliable, and it's not really anymore.
It's not bad. It's worth less after we changed the scoring 2 seasons ago. It's still pretty good because you can usually kind of count on who's going to get the shots blocked. It's going to be the best defenseman on a bad team, usually. So guys, that's why Eastwood's I think a low first, high second round pick. That's why Kikkoman has any value at all.
Yeah.
Who else is up there? Because I mean, Reese is in a similar situation, but he also scores usually. He's going to be their guy blocking shots because who else is going to on that team? Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I really like talking about fantasy.
No,
I haven't really had a lot of like, I guess, direction. I've just been kind of talking. So the point was to try to find sleepers, and haven't really done that, I guess. So
I mean, we have, I think, though.
There's a few here and there, but like I said, I think it's really difficult this season compared to last, anyway.
I would agree with that.
You got anything else you want to add there?
No, I can talk fantasy from a purely numbers standpoint, but when it comes digging into who do you think is no one's going to take or who's going to get taken in the 5th, 6th round, it starts to get a little more difficult for me. I can equate numbers, but then trying to remember numbers from past seasons based going forward that's where you start to lose me.
Yeah. As long as when you're looking at players who you need at least 2 seasons, I think, of like consistent production to be able to trust the player.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
That's why
give you a feel for what they're
like
doing.
Fletcher are slightly dangerous because we don't have the
we've got a season, right?
Yeah, we've got a season, so who knows if that's going to carry over. If you look at preseason, it looks like it probably will, but it's hard to say.
Never know, baby. How's Simon feel today?
Right. But then you got, like I said, guys like York, Reese, Joe K. They're kind of proven commodities, so you know what they're going to do for the most part. There's going to be slight variation, but yeah. I guess I don't really have a whole lot else. Geronimo Otto. I want to see what he's. I gotta look at the index really quick to see where he's at, because I was talking about this with you off air last week, and I was thinking that Otto would be a bad pick, and he's not a bad pick necessarily, but I think he's going to get picked higher than he should in most leagues.
I think I saw him go 5th round in mine.
The 5th round is acceptable, I think. 5th round's fine. But I think he I think he's gonna go like third and fourth in most leagues, or leagues that expect him to produce like he did last season, which I don't think he will. But yeah, that was one that stuck out to me as a guy I thought would get picked higher. Actually, he's doing pretty well this preseason, regardless of being on an Edmonton team that's very, very deep after coming from a San Francisco team that is very, very not. He's still producing reasonably well. So yeah.
Well, yeah, and at the end of the day, good players are going to produce, you know.
Yeah. Let's move on because I'm running out of things to talk about.
It's fantasy, baby. We get new questions every week about it. We can always.
Yeah, you keep rambling on about fantasy.
We spend probably like half of every podcast discussing fantasy, and it's not a bad thing. It's a great thing.
I don't know why, but I don't know. I get into it. I love overthinking my picks. I love sitting there staring at these numbers and just going like, oh, this guy, but this guy, or this guy.
Wow, that's my whole life as a GM, actually.
So there you go, ML. There's some.
Fuck you, ML.
Yeah.
Christ.
Oh, wow. Strong words.
I'm bitter today.
Luke.
My boy. Yeah. So with the preseason for the SHL having coming close to a close, and the preseason for the SMJHL starting, how are your teams looking? Any standout teams in general during the offseason? Hamilton's not looking so hot, Rich. I won't lie to you.
Well, where are you at? Oof. What? Why are you guys not scoring? What is that?
We're not looking so hot this year, Rich.
106 isn't bad, but that goals against is... When you guys are positive differential, your scoring's not terrible.
I mean, we're only 2 points out of a playoff spot right now, so...
Yeah.
In
the real question
preseason
for me is, can New England keep that up? Because that goals against is really good, and I don't know why.
Is Lockinen still in net there?
Yeah.
Be why?
Pretty sure one more season. I want to see. I gotta go in here. I want to look at Lockinen's build and TPE really quick, because it's gotta be getting low at this point. Because Jabes has not updated in quite a long time. Sorry, clicking through stuff. It's very difficult. And I don't know, the rest of their defense doesn't seem that good to me. I guess they got Kosonen and Landvik.
Kosinen's a pretty consistent performer too.
Yeah, Clayton coming back. But outside of those three, because that's a pretty reasonable kind of group, but it still feels like, there's Lockinen. Still feels like Lockinen's overperforming. I want to see. What? God, there it is. Okay, we are at 717 TBE.
Yeah.
To me, that feels like we should be seeing some effects of that, because that's not that much better than what you guys are going to have this season. I mean, it's a bit better, but it's not that much better. And you guys, I think, are a substantially better team of skaters than
we'll see,
New England.
We said that last season during the postseason and said, we're better than New England. And then we lost in 5. Or maybe it was 6, I don't remember.
Really quick. Let's take a look at your individual scoring on Hamilton there. Phelps is doing really well.
Phelps having a hell of a fucking preseason.
Although the rest of the team is not looking spectacular. And Phelps is actually really, I think, shooting at a lower rate than he should in terms of percentage. 8.7 is not bad, but it's could be a bit better, because I think he's a shooter. He's got 99 scoring, right?
Let's see. Sure. I think he is, but he might be a passer. He might be a passer.
If he's a passer,
yeah, he's a passer. He's a passer.
Oh, he is. Oh, I thought he was a shooter guy. Okay, then that's percentage is fine. But the rest of the team doesn't seem to be. I don't know. I don't get it. You guys have such a good group of skaters.
That top 5 makes sense to me, but the scoring isn't nearly as spread out as it was last season.
Yeah, there's probably just some chemistry issues with build changes due to updates and stuff. So
yeah,
just a little bit of tweaking, I'm sure, is all it'll take. Yeah, I don't know. Shooting percentages look fine too. So Yeah, it's just I'm sure it's just a little bit of chemistry.
Yep, a couple tweaks in the lines, see what happens.
Yeah. What else? What did he ask it specifically? How do our teams look and then the general? Well, Minnesota is doing really well, but it's preseason, so I'm putting no stock into that whatsoever.
You're punching up, baby.
We're scoring like at a ridiculous rate right now. Way better than I would expect. Our lines, the way they're put together right now, I'm actually was very happy with when they were posted the other day in our Discord. I was very happy to see the combination lines, partly because fantasy, I'm not on the same line as what's his name, Terrence Nova, so he should get his hits. But also because I'm not on the same line as him, so I'll get my hits, and I'm getting my hits, which that should stay true to the regular season regardless, unless things change a lot. The scoring is where I think is a big surprise. We're like Nova's got 47 points in 33 games, which is insane.
That's a great rate.
An assist per game right now. He's got 33 assists in 33 games. That's kind of bananas. My player, who's not an offensive player, has 32 points in 33 games. That's almost as many as I had last season. At season's end, I think I had 35. So if that keeps up, yeah, I'll be very, very happy. But the thing that I'm most happy with is that I have 135 hits in 33 games. So that puts me on pace for, I think, about 180-ish.
I think, 180 area. Yeah, if you did the math, I think it would be about that.
And that's ahead of my goal. My goal is 150 per season for the next 5 seasons. So if I can do another season, that was my goal last season. I ended with 185.
What did you say your number was? 135 over 33?
Yep, 135 over 33.
Across 50 games, that puts you on pace for 205 hits.
Does it? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
It's preseason.
Yeah, it's just preseason, but that hit number is typically fairly accurate. So if I can hit 200, that'd be amazing. But I'll be very happy with 180, and that I think that's a bit conservative. If I'm truly on pace for over 200, so that's amazing. That's great. So yeah, we're doing great. But I put no stock in it because it's preseason. It'll kind of be up to Primo. If Primo can continue to play at an okay pace, he doesn't need to be the reason we win games. And he's probably not going to be. So he just needs to kind of be solid, and our scoring needs to be. It doesn't need to be this good, but if it's good, we'll be a playoff team. I think. I still put us in like the 3 or 4 spot. Probably I haven't done my predictions yet, but I'll probably put us 4th. I think.
Yeah, that's fair if you can keep that level of play up. I don't know where we're going to be this year, and it's tough for me to put us in a prediction at this point.
If we're talking, do you want to talk predictions really quick?
Yeah, let's do that.
Probably getting close to an hour here, right?
Let's find out.
As is tradition. I have no idea when we started.
We are at 58 minutes on the dot.
Perfect. Okay. The East, I think, is unpredictable. I think there's no way.
Yeah, the East is a Thunderdome, baby.
So because you got 2 of the
you have 6 teams vying for a spot.
Yes, and we've got now 2 teams that are some of the best skater depth in the league with just no goaltending.
Yep.
Not no goaltending,
but little goaltending.
Yeah. Definitely substandard goaltending in Hamilton and Minnesota. But they've also got, like I said, some of the best skater depth in the league. So who knows what's going to happen with those teams.
And Buffalo's playing at a negative goal differential right now, so it's tough to say whether they'll be able to keep up a playoff pace.
And West Kendall is West Kendall,
so they're a wild card always.
Who knows? It's so ridiculous. I would have if I could figure out the East, I would have done my predictions by now. But I just look at it and go, I just kind of throw my hands up. I don't know what's going to happen.
Because you've got New England looking like they could absolutely dominate the East right now. You've got
like the only thing that makes sense is Manhattan's going to finish last.
Yep, that's it. Because you got West Kendall, they're a wild card.
Toronto second to last.
And that's the thing. I don't know. Right? Probably. I have no idea.
Their depth is pretty. With losing Jasper Clayton and Bobby Watson, their depth is.
That's gonna hurt.
It's a tough spot. So I think they're pretty safe at that. But then again, one of our 2 teams could just kind of shit the bed.
That's what I mean, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. You have 6 of the 7 teams in the East that could take a playoff spot. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to discount Toronto or Minnesota or Buffalo for that matter. Any one of those 6 teams could be in that 4 that gets into the playoffs this year. The West is a little more clear cut, but this is tough to pick out.
Yeah, the West is clearer in terms of I think the teams that are playoff teams, but it's the order I'm not certain on either.
Texas looks good in preseason, man.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand it because the best predictor of success should be strength of roster. I don't think their roster is that good, not compared to some of the other teams in that conference. Anyway,
Simon
so I don't
Lowe's a
get
good
it.
Cinderella story, man.
I don't get it. Yeah. Boy, so I mean, obviously Edmonton, Winnipeg, Calgary, LA. Those are to me are the four that should be the playoff teams.
No, I'm doing it again. I did it last year. I'm gonna do it again this year. Seattle's making it into that 4th spot this year, man. Seattle's gonna do it this year.
Seattle's got a shot. I still think they're a little bit too young. They've got who'd they add? They added Selleck.
Well, they added Lombardi and Selleck.
Yeah, I think Lombardi actually hurt them a little bit last season. I don't think they. Well, at least it hurt Louis Garrett anyway.
Yes.
Kind of slowed Louis Garrett down a bit towards the end of the season. Still see if they got that figured out. But I still think they need another. Probably their goaltending I think is probably going to be one of the big issues. Did Selleck retire or not?
I don't think so, but maybe.
I don't think he did either, but I don't remember. I wonder if his intentions are to retire, because otherwise I don't know why Buffalo would move him. Let me see, Mr. Toman, sir. He did retire.
Maybe he was going to leave.
He did retire, so that makes sense.
Okay, so this is his last season.
So yeah. I don't know. I don't trust it. I think they need another season or two, especially with the strength of the kind of established teams over there in the West. Have you done your predictions yet officially?
No, sir. No, I have not.
Me too. I've been putting it off because of this, because I just don't know what to do. I'm going to start by saying in the East, I'm just going to actually kind of. God, it's so difficult. The team I think that is like the best top to bottom, I don't trust to finish first in the East, and that's West Kendall.
Yeah, no, I would agree. West Kendall to me is the best team in the East right now, and they're not going to get it.
Yeah, they've got the best roster in terms of like having a goaltender, having defense, having forwards. But they're
a wild card. They've always been a wild card.
I want to say Buffalo, but they're just maybe moving Toman was just like not a good move for them. I don't know.
Buffalo could, if 4-4 plays like that again, Buffalo could be top 2 easy.
When they do have a really good roster, they've got a really good.
They've got a great roster.
I just don't. I look at the. Where's the East? There we are. So I'm going to put Buffalo 2, I think. I'm going to put West Kendall 1, Buffalo 2. West Kendall 1, despite my confidence that they will not finish first in the league or in the conference. I'm pretty confident they won't, but I just can't reasonably not put them first because I think they're the best roster. But God, I hate West Kendall. Why do you do this?
They should be so much better than they typically are.
Always. I can't justify putting anybody else in first. Except maybe Buffalo.
I don't know, man.
Maybe it is Buffalo. Buffalo first, West Kendall second, Hamilton third, Minnesota fourth, New England fifth.
Man,
Toronto
that's tough. That's tough to call.
Seventh. And I'm leaving New England out simply just because of the homer pick, because I want Minnesota to make it in the playoffs. I don't know, man. Stupid East. Why you like this? Oh, the West. I'm going to go Edmonton first. I think that's actually
that's the clear pick.
Certain. That's a strong pick. I'm going to go. God, it gets a little messier after that though, because I want to say probably Calgary, Winnipeg, and then the 4th spot. I probably maybe the 4th spot. I take Texas then.
Yeah, I think Texas is a solid playoff pick. I'm still going to say Seattle for just in the off chance that it happens. I probably won't put it on my actual predictions, but I'm saying it right now.
It feels wrong for me to not put LA in there, though, but I don't know. I'm going to say, what's his name? Hobbs does not play like he did last season, so then I'm going to put LA 4th, Texas 5th. Seattle.
Yeah, it's tight. It's a tight call.
Huh. I don't know, man. I do not like predictions this season. It's too weird. Did you do your award predictions?
No, haven't done those either. I haven't done any of my point tasks this week yet.
Yeah,
it's a problem.
I'm probably gonna do it after this, although I'm feeling like I don't really want to, so I'll probably do it tomorrow when I do the rest of my updates. I don't know. You want to? Probably over an hour now. Huh?
Oh yeah. We're well over an hour now.
I got nothing else to add to this.
I feel like we've said our pieces on that.
Yeah. You want to call it there, or you got anything else you want to talk about really quick?
No, I think I'm good to go if you're good to go.
Yeah. Oh, hey, you know what? Let's publicly congratulations on your alternate captain. Alternate? Yeah. Assistant? Alternate? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, and Hamilton. Yeah. Yeah, I can't believe I got that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Did you guys vote or?
Yeah, we do team votes.
Okay, so you got voted in then. Yeah. It's good stuff, man. I like that. I appreciate when teams do a vote like that, because then it kind of I think it's I don't know how many teams select and how many vote, but I know in Minnesota our captains are selected. But I like the idea of voting, because I think
it makes it feel team, you know.
Yeah, it gives you a better feel of who the leadership kind of really is on the team, right?
Yeah. Well, and it was definitely a close vote from what I remember.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Hamilton's that kind of team where I think everybody likes everybody, so it's like
we're pretty we like each other. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, congrats on that. That's awesome.
Thank you very much.
And I think with that we can call it a podcast. Yeah.
I think we can. Yeah. Cool. As always, if you made it this far, thanks for listening.
Yeah. We'll see you again then next week for number 10.
Number 10. 10th inaugural podcast.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah, so as always.
Basically, what, 3 months then?
3 months?
We were on 12 weeks technically, because
we each took a week off, yeah. So 3 months of podcasting, yeah.
Pretty cool. Well, yeah, we'll see you then.
Yeah, as always, I'm Adam, this is Rich, and we'll see you in a week.
So long.